In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the circle of fifths to find any interval. So the first thing we're going to do is think about the order of flats and sharps. And this will help you make the circle of fifths. So we have B, E, A, D, G, C, F. And using that order, if you start on the left, this is the order of flats. Meaning, if you have a key signature with one flat, it'll be B flat. If it's two flats, B flat and E flat. Three flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, all the way down. If you have 7 flats, that's the order. This is also the order you would write the flats on a staff if you're writing a key signature. This one would be first, F would be last. And the opposite is true for sharps. This is the first sharp, all the way down, B is the last sharp. So if you have a key signature with one sharp, F sharp. 2 sharps would be C, F sharp and C sharp. 3 is F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, all the way down. 7 sharps would be all of them in this order. And again, that's the order you write them on the staff for a key signature. So now we're going to turn this into the circle of fifths. There's my very imperfect circle. The top with no sharps or flats is the key of C major. And I'm going to draw these just so I keep it spaced out evenly. And now we're going to go around somewhat in this order. So the C is right here in our order, which means I know F and G have to be on either side of it. And this part, it might be easier for you to just memorize, I don't know, or you can think about it with this. I know that F has one flat and G has one sharp in the key signature. So for me, I'm going to write F here, one flat, G here, one sharp. And now, going around, this is 2 flats, 3 flats, 4 flats, 5 flats, 6 flats, 7 flats. You can't have more than 7 flats without getting into double flats, and where you don't do that in key signatures. So now, this way, we have 1 sharp, 2 sharps, 3 sharps, 4 sharps, 5 sharps, 6 sharps, and 7 sharps. So these bottom ones are going to have enharmonic key signatures, meaning you could write the same sounding pattern with either flats or sharps, and it would be a different key signature. So now, which notes are we filling in here? Well, we're going to go in this order. So we have a G up there, so the next one is D, and we're just going to go D, A, E, B. D, A, E, B. And then over here after F, we start over and we have B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat, because on this side we have flats, so the bead pattern is all flatted. And this one down here, after bead, next comes G, so now we have G flat at the bottom. And coming from this direction to get our enharmonic, well, if we keep going with the flats, D flat, G flat, the next would be C flat, which is enharmonic with B natural. Now coming this way, after the backwards bead, we start over. Now we have F sharp is enharmonic with G flat, and C sharp is enharmonic with D flat. So there's our circle of fifths. Now that you're looking at it, maybe I should have drawn it a little smaller. If I asked you, what is the key of A natural? you would find the A natural has 3 sharps. What are the 3 sharps? F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. That's all you got to do to use the circle of fifths. Now, moving on to how to use it with intervals. The pattern to find a major scale is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So this just means that if we start a major scale here, if we were to do C, which has no sharps or flats in the key signature, and you write down all the notes diatonically, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And the space between C and D is a whole step. The space between D and E is a whole step. The space between E and F is a half step, and all the way up the scale. Now, that means if I asked you to find a major third above C, you could go C, 1, 2, 3, E major. That is a third right there. And if you wanted to think about it in terms of whole steps and half steps, now you can see there's 2 whole steps in a major third between C and E. Now, from there, if you wanted to make it major or minor or diminished, here's our pattern. We start with major. If you go up a half step, expanding the interval to make it wider, it becomes augmented. If you go down a half step, it becomes minor. Or if you shrink it a half step, and if you shrink it another half step, it becomes diminished. So if I wanted to take this major third I've found and make it minor, I need to shrink it by a half step. So there's 2 ways I can shrink it. Here, I'll draw a quick little staff over here. I have a C and an E, major third. To make it a minor third, I can either make this an E flat. I just shrunk the space between them. And that would keep it in the key of C because the bottom note is still C. If you do it the other way and you keep E natural the same and you want to shrink the interval this way, then this would be C sharp. And now you've changed what key signature you're in, but it's still a minor third.